Hafide Guam, thank you for joining me. We're here to talk about the mistake on the flag of Guam and what that means. So what better place to begin than here at the Great Seal of Guam Park? First of all, this is not a galaiti. A galaiti is a paddling canoe which does not have a sail. This is called a Sakman. Also, this isn't or shouldn't be Two Lovers Point. It's Ritidian Point. You can't actually see Two Lovers Point from here because Oka area / Hospital Point is in the way. Anyway, long story short, the way this Sakman is set up and the way it's drawn on the flag will not sail. Here's why. Our kind of sailing canoe is oriented so that the outrigger is always on the windward side. When set up correctly, the sail is blown away from the outrigger and away from the mast. The way it's drawn on the flag, however, like so, shows the sail being blown directly into the mast, which is obviously a bad idea. Or it could be that the wind is coming from the other direction, which is an even worse idea, which I'll come right back to. When set up correctly, the outrigger serves two basic purposes. One is as a pontoon that provides balance like you'd expect, but it's totally possible that the outrigger can come out of the water and capsize the whole vessel if the wind is blowing hard enough. So the other cooler function is that the outrigger is also a counterweight. If you're catching some good wind, you can actually take advantage of it by adding weight to the outrigger to gain some speed and prevent flipping over. Back to the worst idea, let's say the sail is set up like this, and again this is how it is on the official flag of Guam, and the wind is blowing from the other side. Well, then the sail is just going to flop over. And that is because when set up correctly, you have this rope and this supporting pole oftentimes that go between the outrigger and the mast, which keeps everything from just falling over. When you rig it incorrectly, there is nowhere for this rope to go to keep the sail from falling over. This is why the canoe on the flag is wrong. So how did this happen? The short answer is that we basically lost all of our Sakmen in the 1700s during the Spanish era when they either burned or outlawed our sailing canoes, and as a result, we lost so much of that traditional knowledge. So when the flag was drawn over 2 centuries later in 1917, who could blame us for not knowing better? And now there's no reason to point a finger at anyone in the past since the flag was accepted. It's now our responsibility. And I should point out that there's plenty of other examples of Sakman being depicted incorrectly, such as the old GTA logo, Port Authority, and this art for the UOG-CIS conference. Now here's why I'm so triggered about this. Our sailing canoes, our flying proa, the Sakman, give us an incredible place of honor in the history of the world. And we're not even the ones saying this, but the Europeans who ruled the world at the time are the ones saying that we had the fastest vessels in all the oceans on the planet. So it stands to reason that since we've been here for thousands of years, for most, if not all of that time, we were the kings and queens of speed on the world seas. It's a true testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors that we achieved this. They didn't have any metal or advanced resources to work with. Like most of the time, you see traditional and modern vessels that have a fixed mast, but that's not the way we decided to go. Remember how I said the outrigger should always be on the windward side? Well, what happens if you want to change direction? Well, then you change direction of the sail. The mast can flick over like so, and either end can be the bow depending on the direction of the wind, while always keeping the outrigger on the windward side. This is called shunting. You flip the sail over to the other end and continue to keep the outrigger on the windward side. It absolutely blows my mind that our ancestors were such clever engineers. So we owe it to them to make this right. Now I know changing the flag is a big deal and a sensitive issue. And to that I say, this actually wouldn't be the first time we made a change to the flag. That red border around the outside, that didn't used to be there before. That was added in 1948 after World War II. And so if we made this change today, I think it would just speak to our strength as a people to treat our flag as a living representation of our identity and of our will. I've never served in the military, so I won't pretend to understand what it feels like or what it means to fight for the flag. So here's at least one proud son of Guahan who does. This is Peter J. Santos, an Army veteran and 4-time combat deployed Bronze Star recipient, to share his perspective.
Buenas and Hafide Guam, si Pete Santos. I am a native-born Chamorro here on Guam. and also a military veteran. With regard to changing and correcting the Guam flag, I feel like we should make our beloved flag more culturally correct in order to more accurately reflect our Chamorro history. I am all for fixing the flag. Even though it was an honest error, we should not perpetuate it now that we know there is an error. Sizus Masi.
So what does a corrected flag look like? Well, the options are very much up for discussion. It could be something as simple as drawing a line down the sail to put the mast on the correct side. Or we could just remove the outrigger and look at the canoe from downwind. While we're at it, in either case, we could even make the angles of the sail and rigging better. Learning all of this was a revelation for me, and if it's a revelation for you too, and you want to see the Sakman corrected, then I ask you to sign my petition to ask our elected leaders to make this a priority. The flag, of course, contains the Great Seal of Guam, and the Lieutenant Governor is the official keeper of the seal. So whether it's the executive branch or legislature, let's get them all talking and get this going. For our ancestors, for our legacy, for our own selves here and now, let's fix the flag.